5 nights at Harold's. Ryland's heart raced with excitement as he walked into Hasbear's Pizzeria for his first shift. At 16, this was his first real job, and he couldn't wait to earn some money. The neon signs outside flickered in the night, casting an eerie glow on the rundown building. The pizzeria was far from new. Peeling paint and worn-out carpets told the story of years of forgotten birthday parties and late-night pizza orders. The manager, Mr. Ezell, greeted him with a tired smile. "All right, kid, you're here for the night shift, right?" he asked, tossing a set of keys onto the desk. Ryland nodded, trying to hide his nerves. "Yeah, I'm ready." "Good," Mr. Ezell said, giving him a sideways glance. "You'll be working security tonight? Just keep an eye on the cameras and make sure the doors stay closed. The animatronics, well, they're a little quirky at night." Ryland raised an eyebrow. "Quirky? Like what?" Mr. Ezell hesitated, glancing over his shoulder as if making sure no one else was listening. "Just keep the power up, all right? If it goes out, it's bad news. For you and for them. Don't worry too much about it. You'll be fine." With a nervous chuckle, Mr. Ezell walked out of the room, leaving Ryland alone in the dark security office. The monitor in front of him flickered to life, displaying the pizzeria's layout and the locations of the animatronics. Harold Hasbear, Cody the Bunny, Grace the Chicken, Cupcake Kate, and the Erato Fox Pirates. Ryland shrugged off the unease creeping up his spine. He could handle this. It was just a job. Night 1. The first few hours passed in an uneventful blur. Ryland kept an eye on the cameras, occasionally checking the door controls. The animatronics, at least so far, didn't seem like a threat. Harold Hasbear was still standing motionless on stage, his mouth wide open as if waiting for someone to shove a pizza in it. Cody the Bunny, a large round figure, remained on the stage too. Ryland cycled through the cameras, observing Grace the Chicken holding a strange cupcake-shaped animatronic, Cupcake Kate, in her hands. Grace didn't seem to move much, but Ryland noticed her eyes occasionally flicker toward the camera, as if she were aware of him watching. Just as he thought he had a handle on things, he checked the kitchen cameras. There was Cody, waddling down the hallway toward the security office. He grinned nervously and quickly closed the door on the right. "All right, just keep the door shut, and he can't get in," Ryland muttered to himself, watching the cameras to make sure no other animatronics were moving. But then, a loud bang echoed through the room. Cupcake Kate had launched herself against the window, her massive round body rattling the frame. Ryland quickly pressed the button to close the left door, barely stopping the cupcake's assault. His heart was racing now, the reality of the job settling in. He checked the power meter, half gone already. The animatronics might be slow, but they were relentless. Ryland kept checking the cameras, keeping the lights on to prevent Grace from moving. He kept the doors shut as Cody circled the outside, grinning through the crack. By 5 a.m., everything had gone quiet. The animatronics had returned to their positions, and the power was holding steady. The first night was over. Night 2. The second night, things started to get more intense. Ryland could already tell the animatronics were becoming more active. Cody had started to move faster, waddling with more purpose toward the hallway. Grace was no longer staying put. She was closer to the security office now, and her eyes flickered toward the lights whenever they dimmed. Ryland checked the cameras. The Erato Fox Pirates were now on the move, but they were still in the back rooms. He noted their positions and made sure the doors stayed shut whenever they were near. He didn't have long to relax, though. He heard the sound of metal scraping on metal, and the lights flickered again. Cody had arrived at the security door, banging his round body against it. Ryland hit the button to close the door, just as Cupcake Kate launched herself at the left door once more, shaking the whole security room with her impact. Come on, Ryland muttered as he checked the power meter. It was getting lower, fast. He needed to conserve it. He kept the doors closed as much as possible, only opening them when he was sure no animatronics were nearby. Grace was getting closer now, her movements swift and deliberate. At 4:30 a.m., a loud sound like running footsteps echoed outside the door. Ryland quickly glanced at the cameras. The Erato Fox Pirates were sprinting toward him. Ryland's heart skipped a beat. He slammed the right door shut just as the two Fox animatronics appeared in front of it, their glowing eyes peering through the glass. 5 a.m. Finally, Ryland had survived night 2. but he knew things were only going to get worse. Night 3. By the third night, the pizzeria felt like a prison. The animatronics were everywhere. Cody had grown faster, waddling toward the office with increasing speed. Grace was inching closer to the door. Cupcake Kate was relentless, throwing herself at the glass over and over again. And then there was Harold Hasbear. He had started moving too, but only when the power went out. His enormous jaw would snap shut in a split second, and Rylan knew if he let his guard down for even a second, he wouldn't survive. The Arado Fox pirates were sprinting much earlier this time, and Rylan barely managed to close the door before they reached it. But his nerves were frayed, and his power was running low. By 4 a.m., Rylan had to rely on the flashlight to keep Grace from moving. He checked the power meter, almost empty. He had to make every move count. But then, a loud crash came from the hall, and Rylan's stomach dropped. Harold Hasbear was near the door. The lights flickered. "Please, please," Rylan whispered as he slammed the door shut, praying the power would hold. But the door didn't close fast enough. Harold's jaw snapped open with terrifying force, and Rylan felt his heart stop. The power went out. Night 4. The animatronics were becoming more aggressive. Cody was now outside both doors, his grin widening as he tried to push his way in. Grace was holding Cupcake Kate tightly, but she wasn't afraid of the light anymore. The Arado Fox pirates were on the move earlier than ever, and Rylan's hands shook as he tried to manage the cameras. The power was almost gone. The lights flickered, and Rylan slammed both doors shut, but he knew it wasn't enough. His flashlight died. He was on borrowed time. Night 5. It was the final night. Rylan could barely keep up with the animatronics now. Cody was constantly banging against the doors. Grace was moving closer and closer, and Cupcake Kate never stopped attacking. The Arado Fox pirates were sprinting at him every chance they got. And then, at the worst possible moment, the lights went out. Harold Hasbear's grin filled the camera screen. Rylan knew he was done for. He slammed both doors shut, his fingers trembling as the power meter blinked red. But the doors wouldn't close fast enough. Harold Hasbear's massive jaw snapped shut with a terrifying roar.